All right, let's go from Friday to Saturday now, starting off with our first Power 4 title game between Arizona State and Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game, noon Eastern time on ABC. And a lot like the Boise State UNLV game, Dalton, this is a de facto playoff game because the Big 12 is pretty much guaranteed. They're only sending one team to the college football playoff, making this conference championship game a win and in scenario for both Arizona State and Iowa State. And if Clemson beats SMU, and we'll talk about the game at the very end, if Clemson beats SMU, the winner of this game will also probably get a first-round bye as well. So that's also a big thing to look out for in this one. The Sun Devils are raging hot right now. They're riding a 5-game win streak heading into Saturday. Iowa State also has a 3-game win streak of their own. Did not play each other in the regular season. Arizona State is in its first year as a member of the Big 12 Conference. They have not won a conference title since 2007. Dalton, Iowa State has not won a conference title since 1912. 1912, over 100 years, 112 to be exact, has the last time Iowa State won a conference title. So Iowa State's looking for history right now for the first conference title in over a century and also clinching a spot in the college football playoff as well, whereas Arizona State, it's been 17 years, still a very long time, but not quite the over a century like Iowa State's waited for.
And they've already made history with their first 10-win season ever. Is that correct? I mean, Matt Campbell just keeps taking this program to new heights, and it's incredible. But Kenny Dillingham has done it on the other side as well. This is a fascinating game, and I think the other one to mention, too, if UNLV were to beat Boise, I think the winner of this game also would probably get the last bye week spot there, because UNLV, I don't think they would jump them ahead of the winner of this game, especially with where Arizona State's going to end up if it's them. So I think there's certainly a lot on the line just with the playoff spot, but you very well could see by the end of the weekend one of these two teams in the top 4.
Absolutely. So, Don, you have the Iowa State offense in this game. What should we be looking out for when the Cyclones to the football?
Okay, so I've spent all year looking at Iowa State and schemes, and we've had several of their games and this matchup and this strength and this weakness, but here are the facts, I think, in the biggest game, arguably in program history. Is that what we're getting at here?
Yeah.
We are riding the Rocco coaster is what we're doing. And I'll tell you what, look, Rocco Becht has led him to a 10-2 season. And it looked like in the first half of the year, he was becoming, I don't know about elite, but one of the top quarterbacks in college football. And over the last 6 games, I think we have to remember with Iowa State, look, both of these teams are in on tiebreakers. Iowa State's 4-2 in their last 6 games, and Rocco's really struggled. His last 6 games, all right, 59.2 passing grade, 6.8 yards per attempt, 7 big-time throws, 14 turnover-worthy plays. That's the part that worries me a bit, is that Rocco...
Doubling up on turnover-worthy plays and big-time throws is rough.
Rocco has a tendency to put the ball in some danger, and at times some danger to throw some pick sixes and really turn some games upside down. He got away with a couple of them last week against Kansas State that really could have hurt him, and I start to worry about if some of these balls start getting caught in a big game like this and they go the other way, we have a problem, because we saw it in the UCF game. There was 2 pick sixes that hurt him. They found a way to win that game. In the Iowa game earlier in the year, there was a pick six that I think, it was in that game, wasn't it? Or was it last year's Iowa game? Might have been both of them. I mean, he just has this habit of putting balls into windows sometimes, especially late in plays that he shouldn't. You want another weird stat? On throws under 10 yards this season, Rocco Becht's committed 11 turnover-worthy plays.
Wow.
Nobody else has committed more than 7. There's certain balls where he doesn't see a linebacker charging into his zone window, or he's a little late to it. He's got a good arm, but he doesn't have, the biggest arm of Jalen Milroe, Lenora Sellers kind of arm strength. He doesn't have a rifle like that, so he's really got to play on time and got to make sure he can be accurate into those windows in a timely manner, because when he's late or sometimes when he just doesn't see a guy, boy, the mistakes come. And I would just be worried if you stay in these turnover-worthy play habits in this game against a very aggressive defense that does force turnovers, then you start to have an issue. Arizona State has 11 interceptions on defense since Week 7. That's tied with 3 other teams for the Power 4 lead. He messes around and throws balls right in somebody's chest. I don't know if Arizona State's going to drop him, so I think he's got to be very careful with the windows he throws balls into, especially in those short windows where they could be house back the other way.
Yeah, his tape has been frustrating, to say the least, over the last several weeks. Because he had a really good start to the year, and then over these last few weeks, it seems like he's forcing it a lot more.
There are terrific throws in his tape. When he's on time, especially, we've talked about the middle of the field stuff. He's got 2 great receivers to work with, but then there are 2, 3, 4 balls a week that make me just absolutely cringe. I'm like, no, don't. And he just gets a little bit lucky. The defender drops it. So, again, his interception numbers in total for the year aren't that high, but 18 turnover-worthy plays for the year and 14 in his last 6 games. That's a dicey thing you're going with there, especially against a team. Again, Arizona State thrives on turnovers.
Right.
They have won on turnovers all season, forcing turnovers on defense. Do they have the most talent in the world on defense? No, but when they force turnovers, they get the momentum going and they really get rolling.
14 of his turnover-worthy plays, 18 of them have come in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And what did you had 4 in the first half of the season?
Yeah, in the first half of the season, he had 8 big-time throws and 4 turnover-worthy plays. He was really looking like on a road here to being a top 15 to 20 quarterback in college football. And the last 6 games, it's just kind of it's dicey. Again, the interception numbers might fool you because he's put some balls in danger.
Yeah, and listen, like I said, he has 2 outstanding receivers in Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Well, Sam Leavitt had an outstanding receiver in Jordan Tyson, who unfortunately out indefinitely now with a shoulder injury. And Jordan Tyson, Dolan, has been one of the best receivers that we have in college football this year, honestly. He's been targeted on over 32% of his routes. That's the 5th highest rate among all Power 4 players. 1,104 receiving yards, 636 more than any other Sun Devil, which happens to be Cam Scatterbo. And really, Dolan, this entire offense is centered around really 3 players. Cam Scatterbo, Sam Leavitt, the quarterback, and Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver. All 3 of them have a PFF grade above an 84 this year. The next closest Sun Devil has a 70.6 grade this year. So it's really about those 3 players. Now you take away Jordan Tyson, and now you go, okay, it's the Cam Scatterbo show again, which is what we saw a lot last year as well. We saw it at times this year until Jordan Tyson really emerged. Now it could look like that again because with Jordan Tyson out, he's going to have to be the guy for Arizona State in this game. Scatterbo right now is 6th among all running backs in the country with 970 rushing yards after contact, 4th among all running backs in the country with 468 receiving yards. He's one of the best, most versatile running backs that we have in college football between his receiving ability and his rushing ability. Iowa State's secondary has been outstanding this year. They're 11th in coverage grade, but they've had significant issues up front. 67.7 run defense grade, among the 15 worst in the nation. They allow 5.6 yards per carry. And Dolan, really, their best run defender is linebacker Caleb Bacon. He has not played since week 1 due to leg surgery. So they're missing their star run defender. And against an offense like Arizona State that has a superstar running back in Cam Scatterbo, and now they're going to rely on him more than ever, that could be a big problem for Iowa State. So they need to make someone other than Cam Scatterbo beat them. With Jordan Tyson now out, you don't have to worry about a star receiver in him anymore. You got to make someone other than Scatterbo beat him because right now, Dolan, with Jordan Tyson out, he's a leading rusher for Arizona State and he's a leading receiver for Arizona State as well. So Iowa State needs to make someone else than number 4 beat them in this game. And if they do that, if they contain Scatterbo, which is easier said than done, but if they do that, they have a great shot at winning the Big 12 championship and making the college football playoff, but they need to make someone other than Cam Scatterbo beat them.
Yeah, no, and to their credit, the last 2 weeks they have played well in run defense against Utah and against Kansas State last week. They did a nice job, especially forcing turnovers and getting ahead of Kansas State last week. So I think those are the 2 things that this comes down to. Can Iowa State stop Scatterbo and play a 3rd consecutive game of solid run defense? And again, I think the turnover battle looms very large in this game because Sam Leavitt's done a really nice job of protecting the football, and Rocco at times has not done that, right? Especially over the second half of the season. So I do think Arizona State can survive this. Even with Tyson's emergence, they were still running and passing about 50-50. You don't see many teams with a really even split like that. They were still sitting around 50-50. I think they can survive it. I do think it's a lot more difficult. I would feel very confident about picking Arizona State if they still had Tyson healthy, but the beat goes on, and they have to find ways to win ball games. And they were winning ball games in the first half of the season without Tyson being that guy. It's really been down the stretch that he's emerged like that. So It's always been Scadaboo that's been the heart and soul of their offense, and that's going to continue.
And I'm glad you mentioned those two games where they did really well against the run in Utah and Kansas State. Dolan, those two schools, they're going to run the football. Utah, they have no passing game, and Mekhi Bernard is going to run the football. And then Kansas State, obviously, their whole offense is centered around that ground game between DJ Giddens, Dylan Edwards, and Avery Johnson as well. The one thing going for Iowa State now is that, hey, Arizona State's going to want to run the football, right? They're going to want to run with Cam Scadaboo, whereas with Jordan Tyson out there, you got to worry about that as well. And I'm not saying Sam Levis is a really good quarterback, right? So he still will be able to throw the ball in this game, but now you lose by far your best receiver. So I think that is another avenue is that, hey, if Iowa State can really just center their attention on the run game and stack the box and make Sam Levitt beat them, that's probably the way that they can try to win this game. But ultimately, Dolan, who will win the Big 12 championship and who will clinch a spot in the college football playoff?
It's a tough one. The Tyson injury makes this a lot harder. Yeah. I think with Tyson healthy, I would have been 100% confident and no question I'm taking Arizona State. They're playing the best football. I think it does throw a wrench in it, and Rocco Beck could rebound in the biggest game of his life here and turn around and not put the ball in danger. And you got two great receivers out there. And we've talked about Arizona State's lack of pass rush. And there's some things to the advantage of both teams here. But you know what? I really love what Kenny Dillingham's building with this team. I just think they're going to find a way to persevere through that. And if nothing else, Tyson, it was obviously a great add-on to this offense to have a guy like that, a true number one receiver. But the foundation of this team is being physical. It's Cam Scadaboo in the run game. And Sam Levitt in the run game, too. Yeah. He's a good athlete, too. He'll run hard, too. And I just can't get over to this defense. They're so aggressive and they're so opportunistic. And they are so much fun to watch, honestly, on tape because they just play so darn hard and so physical. And that's the part where they're going to come out and challenge Iowa State. Iowa State is not the most physical team. I think on both sides of the ball, I would consider them more of a finesse team, right? They want to pass and they want to stop the pass. But getting in a game like this, you mentioned for the third consecutive week, Iowa State's got to do it again. They got to put the boxing gloves on again and be more physical. But I think Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State find a way. I think it's going to be a great game. I think losing Tyson could be an equalizer that gives Iowa State an opportunity. But if Arizona State comes out, force a couple turnovers, and ride Scadaboo, I've got them 31-27.
Yeah, I also have Arizona State winning in a very tight game, 27-24. Again, like you, with Jordan Tyson in there, I would have been very confident picking Arizona State. But with him out now it's all about Cam Scadaboo.
It's shakier ground, but I do like what Dillingham has going with this entire football team.
Yeah, listen, Scadaboo has been the engine of the offense all year. Dolan, he'll have to be the entire car probably in this game with Jordan Tyson now. So luckily for them, Iowa State, we mentioned before, has had significant problems stopping the run. So that, and also Rocco Beck's recent cold streak, makes me want to ride the Sun Devils in this game. I feel like I could trust them a little bit more than I could trust Iowa State right now. So I got Arizona State winning the Big 12, and in their first year in the conference, they were picked last in the preseason poll in the conference as well. So heck of a turnaround for Kenny Dillingham. I believe after 2 straight 3-9 years, Arizona State have now going to the college football playoff with a win over Iowa State.
And is there anyone more built to be the whole car other than maybe Ginty and Hampton in college football than Scadaboo?
And Scadaboo, I think more so maybe than any other running back in the country, he'd want that.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. If Coach Dillingham went up to him before the game and said, hey, 40 carries today, I think he'd be
40 carries, 12 catches.
Yeah,
we did it all.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Remember when he was hurt and he was not even wearing pads? And it was a close game, and he literally was begging Dillingham, be like, "Put me in the game right now." And coach was like, "Dude, you're not even wearing pads right now. Like, you're not going."
He would walk out there without pads and a helmet.
That video was awesome. It was like this guy's just wearing his jersey with no pads, and he's still begging Dillingham to go in the game.
If there was ever a time to just ride one guy to a conference title, this would be the time, and this would be the team to do it.
If Kenny Dillingham said yes, he would have sprinted to the locker room, put on his pads, and came sprinting back out and put him in the game. So yeah, Cam Scadaboo is a legend, man, and he'll have to be a legend probably in this game for Arizona State to come away with a victory, but we both had the Sun Devils winning the Big 12 championship. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.